Hey y'all, I'm back with my February 2023 reading wrap up. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Books with Kimberly. Don't forget to like, comment, share my channel, and subscribe. Y'all, today I'm back to talk about the books that I read in the month of February. I told myself that I only wanted to read books by Black authors in the month of February, which is not hard for me to do because 90% of the books that I read are by Black authors. But I just wanted to add something extra because February is Black History Month, and I just really wanted to read some amazing books by Black authors that I really enjoy. And I even sprinkled in a new Black author that I had not read anything from her. I read a total of 4 books. Well, I listened to a total of 4 audiobooks, and I had a really good reading month, so let's get into it. The first book I'm going to speak about is Coming Home by Kennedy Ryan. It is a novella that is exclusive to Audible. I thought this book was perfect for me to read during Black History Month because this book takes place during homecoming weekend. It's at a fictional HBCU, Findlay University. Historical Black colleges and universities are a huge part of Black history, so I thought this was a great romantic book to read during the month of February. This book is about Torre and Naomi. Torre and Naomi are both journalists. Torre gets a call from an old college friend from Findlay University. She now works there, and she asks him, can he come to the university and be interviewed during the homecoming festivities to bring good press to the university. She sweetens the pot by telling him his daughter is on the homecoming court, and his college crush will be the one to interview him, Naomi. So Torre is, of course, on board with going to homecoming to reconnect with his daughter. Because he is a traveling journalist, he has not spent a lot of time in his daughter's life, and also reconnecting with Naomi. The two of them had a huge crush on each other, so this is considered a second chance romance. I thought the story was cute, but that's it. It was just cute, so I'm giving it 3 stars because I need my romance to be steamy, fun, exciting, filled with passion and intimacy. I need all of that, even drama in my romance books. And I know this is a novella, but I expected more from Kennedy Ryan. She does a really good job of bringing drama, of bringing that strong, deep intimacy between her characters. Just let the passion fill the room. But it was a really fun read. It was light and fun. It's just that's not what I expect from Kennedy. I wanted elements of more things within this novella. Ooh, child. The next book I read is a heavy hitter, y'all. It is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. I'm gonna say what I always say. Tiffany D. Jackson is a genius. That's it. That's the comment. This book is about Enchanted, you guys. She is a 17-year-old junior in high school. She has great singing abilities and wants to be a famous singer. She finds an opportunity to audition to be on some kind of talent search show. She does not get it, but there in the audience is Corey, who is this famous singer who's 27 years old. The two of them exchange numbers. They start to contact each other. Corey reaches out to her family about her coming to the studio and signing with his label. Eventually, she begins to record with him, go on tour with him, live with him, this 17-year-old and this 27-year-old Corey. This story probably sounds very familiar because even though Tiffany Jackson says this book is not based off of Robert Kelly and his cases and all the stories and occurrences that have happened with him being predatory, this book is very, very, very similar to a lot. I'm like, yep, I remember hearing he did that. Yep, I remember hearing he did that. It was a very heavy read because if you watch the Lifetime Surviving R. Kelly series, a lot of those stories were in this book. Tiffany Jackson, she turned this into a thriller by letting us know pretty early on that Corey has been murdered and the prime suspect is Enchanted. A murder being involved. that gives the story a twist, and it has mystery in it, and there's some psychological twists within this book that differentiates it from what truly happened in the Robert Kelly stories. Is not as graphic as the documentaries that were on Lifetime, because this is YA fiction, but it definitely does go there. This book received a lot of mixed reviews, but I give it 5 stars because I love that Tiffany tackled this topic, that she went there. She is really exposing what young girls go through within her YA fiction. I will say the only critique I have is that it was so similar to the Robert Kelly story, and I wish she would have veered off a little bit more within this story. This story really went there. So shout out to Tiffany D. Jackson for another amazing book. The third book I read in the month of February was Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl by Joya Goffney. I had never read a book by this author, and y'all know I don't read book descriptions, so I went in completely loving this title. This book really surprised me in a good way. The main character of this book is Monique. She is 17, and she is what we will call a PK in the church world. She is a pastor's kid. Her dad is a pastor of the big church in a small town, and being a PK comes with a lot of pressure to be a good girl. What we find out is that her and her boyfriend Reggie have attempted to lose her virginity 29 times. After the 29th time, Reggie breaks up with her because, look, he is ready to get it on and popping, and she goes into researching what is going on with her body and why can't she lose her virginity with Reggie. And it starts off with her wanting to figure it out so that she can get her boyfriend back. But in the end, this book ends up being a journey of sex education, her learning about her body, her letting go of some of these fears that she has that have been placed on her through church culture and purity culture. I love this book, y'all. It talked a lot about the Black family and just growing up in a religious family and how you're not supposed to talk about sex, and it was just her exploring things. So it was overall a really good book. I recommend that you read it. It is a lot of sexual content, you know, teenagers researching and exploring things. But hey, it's an important book, and I really enjoyed it, and I give it 4 stars. The last book I read in the month of February was Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black. Y'all, this story was so beautiful. It is a book about an older man who is writing letters to his gay son, who he has not spoken to in years. After the young son grew up and went to college, him and his father disconnected. And so his father is on his deathbed. He has cancer, and he is writing letters to his son, telling him about his upbringing, telling him about how he just wasn't taught how to love. How growing up post-slavery in those 1950s, you know, a man being a man was judged on how hard he was, how hard he could work. It wasn't about gentleness and being nurturing. That's stuff that women do. And so he really explores how that upbringing of men aren't to cry, men aren't to hug, aren't to show affection, aren't to be emotional, like him being a young kid and losing a pet dog and his grandpa telling him, stop crying over that dog. Or him even retelling how they bullied a young boy who was gay growing up. He really went there in these letters, bearing it all to his son. I think in order to free himself, but also to free his son and let his son know that, like, I do love you. Y'all, I thought this was such a beautiful book. I give it 5 stars. I loved everything about it. Y'all, those are the books that I read in the month of February. Let me know, what did you read? I hope that y'all read some books by Black authors in the month of February, since it was Black History Month. I will be back later with my March reading wrap up. So y'all, I'll talk to y'all later, and thank you for tuning in to a Books with Kimberly video.